Hello everyone! A blessed afternoon to all of you. Magandang hapon. Welcome to episode 20 of Brewing Live, filling your digital cup with great stuff. This is brought to you by Decaf Coffee Republic, the home of certified life coaches here in the Philippines and going global. Our physical space is located inside Pioneer Center compound along Pioneer Road, corner Brixton and United Streets, Capitolio, Pasig City. Coffee Republic is open daily from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. only because of the pandemic situation. But coaching services in demand is still open 24/7 any day of the week, any day of the week. Okay, just connect to Coach Rizal at 0917-586-1661. Brewing Live is a 30-day exploration journey that aims to fill your digital cup with great stuff and ignite your space with opportunities for impact, income, and influence. We started the journey last September 1, and you can watch the replay of past episodes in Decaf Coffee Republic FB page, Life Coaching Philippines FB page, and Coach A iConnect YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. Please do tag a friend or friends in the comment below and share this link to your timeline and FB group so that we can reach more people and help transform lives. This project is in partnership with Coach A Coaching Club, which I am a member of. And the mission of our club as members is to create massive impact by turning our talents into income and influencing the people in our chosen domain and territory through the platform of life coaching. Batch 1 of Coach A Coaching Club is now on month 4, and this endeavor is our community service after completing 12 weeks of training inside the club. Batch 2 is now ongoing, and if you are interested to know more of the coaching club and how you can be part of this premier club for coaches and entrepreneurs, please connect to Coach Rizal at 0917-586-1661. For today's episode, I will share with you the 5-step process on how to build your self-worth and why having a high level of self-worth is important. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so before we proceed, I want you to jot down everything that you will get from this talk today. Please jot down your pack my bag moments. And what are my pack my bag moments? These are nuggets of wisdom or aha moments that you get as we journey today through this talk. Those that have resonated with you and made an impact to you. Okay, much like the souvenirs we get when we do have travels. 'Di ba? When we go on travels, it's it's not complete without the souvenirs that we buy or we get. It can be trinkets, small trinkets, or it can be photos of the places that uh, we went through. And that's what I want you to get from this topic today. So get that pack my bag moment, and what do we do with it? Some we keep and some we share, and that's the joy actually of getting your souvenirs. You share it, and so just like that souvenir, please do share your pack my bag moments in your timeline and FB page and FB groups. Please put the hashtag pack my bag moment and Decaf Brewing Live. Okay, so first, let me introduce myself. I am Cee Bercasio, or you can call me Coach C. I am a professional life coach certified by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs based in Dallas, Texas, USA. I am a wife. We've been married for 11 years now, and I am childless, at least for the moment. Okay, because as Jody Day said, that desire to have your own child doesn't really go away. And I'm still hoping to have my own very own biological child someday. Um, but for now, we're just letting it just flow naturally. Okay. As a life coach, I help empower childless women mentally and emotionally to regain their purpose and see their true value as a woman and be able to live a life with love. Okay. So first, I want to tell you this quote from Brene Brown. There is no prerequisite to worthiness. And I do believe that. I do believe that you don't have to do anything uh, to be of value. Okay, our worthiness is already intact. Our value as a person is intrinsic. We are born with it. Okay, we are already worthy the time that we were born. But we are created from absolute worthiness, and there is nothing that we can do that makes us less worthy. This is what I believe now, but it hasn't always been that way. Okay, and that's my journey as being a childless woman. So, you ask me, if worthiness is intrinsic and it is innate in us, why do we have this topic? Why do we have this five-step process on building your self-worth? Okay. Um, the thing is, although our worthiness is intrinsic, we are born with it. Our opinion of ourselves is not. It's not always been solid. It's not always been steady. Okay. So first, let's define what self-worth is and why it is important. Okay. Self-worth is an internal state of being that comes from self-understanding, self-acceptance, and self-love. So it is an internal state of being. Okay? In short, it is your sense of value as a person. It is your opinion of yourself. And thus, although worthiness has always been there, has always been absolute, we don't always believe that. Our belief in ourselves has been affected by the thoughts that we have about the circumstances of our lives, our past, other people, our actions, our results, and a lot of other factors. And usually, we value ourselves, the value we give to ourselves is in comparison with other people. For me as a childless woman, I've always thought that of myself as being worthless because I cannot bear my own biological child, unlike other women, because I have equated worthiness with having my own kids, and that showed up in other areas of my life. Okay, so our view of our self-worth can affect first your mental and emotional health, your relationship with other people, your resilience in the face of challenges and difficulties in life, and your growth as a person. Okay? At a time when I was having a very low level of self-worth, I isolated myself. I shut down from the world. And it affected all other areas of my life, of course. I hide. I don't want to see other people. I don't do things to improve myself. Okay? And somehow, after a long while, I seek that feeling that I can contribute to the world, because we are human beings that are wired to contribute to the world and to connect to other people. Okay, And only through life coaching did I find that. Okay. Now, yes, your view of your self-worth affects these four areas of your life and all other areas of your life actually. But a word of caution here, it doesn't mean that you have a high level of self-worth. You will not have any negative thoughts anymore or negative feeling for that case. It just means that you know how to take care of your mental and emotional health. And having an excellent mental health doesn't mean just the absence of mental disease or mental illnesses. It means a lot more. Okay? That's what we do as life coaches. Okay? And having a high level of self-worth doesn't mean that you will have all that good and happy interaction with other people, that you won't have any bad conversation or difficult conversation with other people. Okay? Having a high self-worth just means that you will be able to know how to deal with these people when that event comes. Okay? And having a high self-worth doesn't mean you won't experience any difficulty in life or you won't have problems anymore. It just means that if you have a high self-worth, you know, um, you still have faith in yourself and believe in your resilience and own capabilities when difficulties happen in your life. And having high self-worth does not mean that you will grow with ease and comfort. Okay? It just means that you take action and make decisions even if it feels uncomfortable for you. And that's where growth happens in life. Okay? Having a high self-worth is important, not just for us childless women, which I have experienced before, but for others as well, for anything actually that you experience in your life. Okay? To have a high level of self-worth means having unshakable faith in yourself and in your ability to set goals and create results, to follow through and get things done. To have a high level of self-worth means never allowing yourself to be defined by outside forces, including other people's opinion. It means never allowing outcomes to shake your confidence, faith, and resolve. No matter what happens, you are steadfast because you have a high level of self-worth. Okay, so now that we know what self-worth is and we have already identified why it is important, so this is here is the 5-step process for building your self-worth. Okay. If you have comments on that first part or anything in your mind, please do write in the comments below. I do encourage you to write your comments below so that you can free your mind for anything that's bothering you. Okay? So remember the pack by bag moments. Okay? So the first step in this 5-step process is self-understanding. This step involves a deeper getting to know yourself on a deeper level. You know, we have those moments in our lives that we say, I know myself already. I know what I want. I know what I do not want. This is me. Okay. So, sometimes we say, ito na ako eh. Ganyan na talaga ako. Ever since tumata ako, ganyan na talaga ako. Ito na. Okay. And then, for those who can remember the autographs when we were in high school, at least when I was in high school, although I'm not sure if the younger people now can remember that, or is it still, do they still know that? But those are the autograph says that how do you define love, and it says there what are your favorite colors, who are your favorite artists, what are your favorite music, what are your favorite foods, and a lot of other favorite things. Okay, so but knowing yourself But knowing yourself and understanding yourself goes much deeper than just knowing what your favorites are, what your likes or dislikes are. Okay. To know yourself deeper is understanding the different facets of you. Okay. If you've been listening to the past episode, 19 episodes of Brewing Live, you might have encountered this several times. Who am I? Who are you? Okay. So this is part of understanding yourself. In the context of building your self-worth, what I can just say is, if everything is stripped from you, if um, if you have been stripped of all your possessions, your career achievements, your money, your wealth, your relationships, okay, your friendships, if these have all been taken away, who are you? Okay. So you have to know that. Okay. You have to know who are you stripped of all these things. The second one is knowing your fears and desire. So what do you fear? Saan ka natatakot? And what are your desires? Ano yung mga gusto mong ma-achieve? Ano yung mga pinakakaasam-asam mo sa buhay? Okay. Knowing your fears and desires is understanding what motivates you to take action or inaction. Okay? Because sometimes, we don't do things. Bakit? Kasi takot ako eh. Diba? Or we do things because of, gusto ko yan. Yes, gusto ko yan. Gagawin ko yan. So yeah. So you have to know your fears and desires. And the third is, why do you think, feel, and act this way? So, sa isip, okay, sa damdamin, at sa gawa. I think that's the Tagalog for it. So, why? Why do you do the things that you do? Okay? You have to dig deeper into yourself to understand yourself better by asking the questions why. Okay? Why is a very powerful question. Only if you ask it from the space of curiosity. Okay? So, pag nagtanong tayo ng bakit, it's because we want to understand something. Okay? But then, most of the time, we ask bakit or why, and we already seems like blaming somebody else. Okay? So, that yung mga tanong natin or yung mga sinasabi natin sa sarili natin na, bakit sa akin nangyari to? Diba? So, bakit ako? I think those are not the right questions of why, of using the why. But if you use the why question from the space of being curious, okay, so that's where it becomes very powerful. Okay. So who are you and how you see yourself based on your own opinion are keys to understanding your true value. Okay? So I'm not saying that opinions of others doesn't matter. Okay? It's just that you have to know whose opinion matters to you. Sabi nga dito, this is a saying from Jiddu Krishnamurti. Okay? If you begin to understand who you are without trying to change it, okay, then who you are undergoes a transformation. Okay? So the next step is self-acceptance. So you will have there a photo of somebody embracing herself from the mirror. Okay? The other self is going out of the mirror and going, embracing the real one. Okay? So self-acceptance. Life is 50-50. 50% good and 50% bad. That's how I see it, and that's what I believe.
Coach, Coach C, do you hear me?
Hi, Coach
Co-
Ray.
Ayun,
Are
okay
we
na.
on?
Sige.
Are we on?
Na-mute yung...
Ayan, so, sorry. Okay, so, where are we? So, self-love. Okay, so, it becomes a struggle for us for self-love. That's why it is recommended that first you go to the self-understanding, and then self-acceptance before you can do self-love. Okay, so how do we do self-love? First is practice self-compassion. Okay, sabi ni Dr. Christine Neff, the authoritative in self-compassion, she defines self-compassion as self-compassion means you are kind and understanding with yourself when confronted with personal failings. Okay, so kasi um, it's different with other people. So alam natin kung paano maging compassionate with other people, but sometimes we find it hard to be compassionate with ourselves. So we have first to do that self compassion. And then the next one is practicing positive self-talk. I remember this is also have been mentioned in the previous lives. So how you talk to yourself really matters, okay? Because how you talk to yourself gives your brain a signal. And let's say when you say I am not worthy to yourself, which I've been telling myself before, my brain will want to prove that true and correct. So what it will do is to align my feelings and my action to the thought of I am not worthless. I am not worthy. And then of course I will do things that are not worthy. Okay? So na hindi ka pakipakinabang. And then again, I will go to the uh, parang ano pabalik-balik lang yan. And then I will think again of myself not worthy and palalim ng palalim. Okay? But we may not be able, just like with myself, I was not able to go to that from I am not worthy to believing immediately that I am worthy. I have to go to a process, which is actually this is the process to believe to it. Okay, so while you are still in the process of believing that you are uh, worthy, so we can start with being grateful. So Coach A coaching community has a challenge for a 30-day challenge for gratefulness. So you can check that out. And being in the state of compassion and understanding for ourselves. So no beating ourselves up. Wag natin i-beat yung mga sarili natin na lagi natin sasabihin, eh kasi ito maling ginawa mo, ano ba ang tan GA mo, di ba? So, which is what I do with myself before, but I've learned to stop doing that. Okay? And the third one is to practice self-care. Okay? Here's the thing, self-love and self-care goes hand in hand. But sabi ko nga kanina, we go directly to self-care, but we find it not sustainable or we are not consistent. So this is why you are not consistent in your self-care. So sabihin natin, gusto ko mag-exercise, gusto ko kumain ng healthy, but sometimes uh, we only do that for a few days or a few weeks, and then we revert to how we are before. Kasi I mean, hindi tayo dumaan sa tamang proseso. Okay? So, for me, self-love and self-care are the most selfless thing you can do for yourself and others. We have this notion kasi that when you do self-care, you are selfish. But then, if you don't care for yourself, example, sa health, you're not taking care of your physical self. So what will happen is you might catch an illness or a disease, or you might get fever. So what happens is other people will have to take care of you. Okay? So instead of them doing something else that might help you, uh, or the whole family, in better ways, they can do that because they are taking care of you. So let's view self-care in that light. Okay, you're taking care of yourself. Why? Because instead of them taking care of you, you are the one that's going to take care of them. Self, if you love yourself and you care for yourself, it overflows, and that overflow you can share with other people. Okay, so and in your self-care, please do include taking care of not just your physical body, but also with your mind and with your spirit. So the fourth step is, after you've done self-understanding, self-acceptance, and self-love, you will now have self-recognition. Okay? And when you have self-recognition, you begin to define yourself in your own opinion and not based on opinion of other people. Bakit? Kasi kilala mo na yung sarili mo eh. You've known who you are. Inaccept mo na kung sino ka. And minahal mo na ang sarili mo. And thus, you began to define yourself in your own words. Sa iyong paniniwala. Okay? And also, you begin to define yourself because you don't need to please other people anymore. Kasi sometimes we define ourselves based on other people's opinion because that is what we think that will please them. Okay? So, maraming example niyan. Like, yung mga gusto mong gawin. Okay? Gusto mong gawin kasi gusto mo bang gawin? O dahil gustong mong gawin dahil gusto siya sa'yo ng ibang tao, or that is what's expected of you by others. Okay? So when you have you are building already your self-worth, you will recognize that uh, you can begin to define yourself, and you recognize that you have your own power. You have your own power to make your own choices, to make your own decisions. And here's the thing, you have the power to express your thought. Kasi actually dyan ako nahirapan dati. Ayokong mag-express ng thoughts ko. Ayokong magpakita ng sarili ko kasi iniisip ko yung sasabihin ng ibang tao. But when you recognize that you have the power to express your thoughts and your own opinion, you will get out. And expressing yourself is a form of self-confidence as well. Okay? Maganda rin na na-express mo yung sarili mo kasi dyan mo na ilalabas kung anong meron ka. Okay, and then the third, you recognize your own true value. So, nakikita mo na yung kahalagahan mo bilang isang tao. And what's good about that actually, what's great about that is that when you recognize your own value, you also recognize the value of others. Okay? You recognize that you are not less worthy or others are not more worthy than you. What you will recognize is that all of us, you, me, and everyone else, are all created worthy. Okay? Sabi nga ni Brewing, we are all equally worthy. The last step, okay? Self-responsibility stage. Okay, so self-responsibility. So actually, these last two steps, they are an automatic response from the first three steps. Okay? Um, Self-worth and self-responsibility goes hand in hand. If you have high level of self-worth, then you have high level of self-responsibility. And what that does is, it avoids the blame game. Okay? So, naiiwasan natin yung manisi ng ibang tao or ng sarili natin. Okay? So, self-responsibility means that we take responsibility for our own choices and decisions. Kanina, we recognize that we have the power. So now, we know that we have the responsibility. So we take actions toward it. We make our own choices. We make our own decisions. And thus, we know that we create our results in life. Um, and we take responsibility for our own life, for our successes and for our failures. So we take responsibility of our thoughts, our feelings, and our action. Um, if you have a high level of self-worth, sometimes you will notice, no, not sometimes, you will actually notice that you will stop that. Kasi ganto, kasi sabi ni ganto ganyan. Or kaya ganito yung result ko kasi yung iba hindi nila ginawa yung something. Or dahil ginawa nila ganito. Or kasi naghihintay ako pero wala pala akong hinihintay. Yung mga ganong klase. So, we take out responsibility. But if you have a high level of self-worth, you take responsibility. Okay? But then, a word of caution again, taking responsibility does not mean you blame yourself. Okay? So we stop blaming others, but then what happens is we start blaming ourselves. So when you are tempted to blame yourself, please go back to step one, understanding yourself, accepting yourself, and loving yourself. It's the first three steps. Okay? So when you have self-responsibility, we create our own life story. Sabi nga, sa Spider-Man, ni Uncle Ben, okay, with great power comes great responsibility. But I say, with great responsibility comes great power. Okay? So when you feel like you are being, or when you feel like powerless, okay, ask yourself, this is a very powerful question for me, ask yourself, well, what area in my life am I not taking responsibility of? Okay? Kasi, if you do not take responsibility for it, ibig sabihin, inaasahan mo yung ibang tao that will take that responsibility. And what happens is, hinihintay mo sila. Naghihintay ka sa kanila kung anong gagawin nila. And then, nakasalalay ka lang sa kanila. And sometimes that feels very, very disempowering. Okay? So, to recap, the 5-step process of building self-worth, we have self-understanding, self-acceptance, self-love, self-recognition, and self-responsibility. So, and with any other processes, as with anything else, okay, this is a process, and it takes time. It isn't something that you can do just once and then forget about it. Madalas sinasabi natin, akala ko okay na ako. Saan nakakalimutan natin that yes, it may occur, and because it is a process. And it's just like this photo of building blocks. Every day, placing one single stone down on the ground does not build a fortress. Okay, so you have to lay down a new stone each day, and eventually the fortress will grow more prominent and more substantial until it becomes almost unbreakable. So you lay down each stone every day. Be consistent. Building your self-worth is just like this fortress. You must see it as a long-term process. So, hindi ito panandalian lamang. Okay? You must see it as a long-term process that you need to work on consistently over time. So again, if you have comments, if you that may be a lot of informations that you have to take. So just please write your comment in the comment box below. So for me, as I began to understand myself and accept my circumstance, I was able to love myself and recognize my own true value, my own worthiness. And thus, I am taking responsibility for my life and my results, and in creating my own story of unshaming childlessness. This is a process, and as I continue to unshame my childlessness, I continue to develop as well myself. So, before we end, I leave this quote to you. It is difficult to make a man miserable, a man or a woman for that matter. It is difficult to make a man miserable while he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him. This is from Abraham Lincoln. So, we are created by an amazing God. And He uh, died for us. He's saying to us that we are worthy of His life. So, He created us all with absolute worthiness. Believe that you are worthy. You are absolutely worthy. Okay, so let's work together for women who don't have their own biological child at the moment and are struggling with dealing with it. Um, let's work together in unshaming your childlessness. Okay. Um, you can contact me in my mobile number or email address, and please do like my page and join my Facebook group, Absolutely Worthy Coaching and Absolutely Worthy Coaching Tribe, respectively. Okay. Please do join me again for another FB Live next Sunday in my FB page, Absolutely Worthy Coaching. And in behalf of the Coffee Republic and Coach A Coaching Club, we want to thank you all for being part of this journey, and we look forward to welcoming you as part of our thriving tribe of coaches and entrepreneurs. Love, boom, boom. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.